I think we're gonna be good.
Okay. Coolio SpaghettiOs.
All right. Welcome to, I think we're on episode 16 right now. Episode 16 of episode 22 Link in Bio podcast. I'm Dax Miller, Art Haven Studios, and today with us, we got Joey Taps. Joey Taps, you are a rapper here in Las Vegas.
Yes, indeed.
Been on the scene for a couple of years. Oh, you know what we forgot? The clapper. Okay. Yeah. So this is for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, yeah, right?
Fancy dancy.
So what you get to do is you get to take a look at the camera for the audience, and you get to name this episode.
Oh, okay. We're going to name this episode Self-Belief is Key.
Self-belief is key. I love it.
That's the one.
All right.
This is awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It just adds a little something, right?
Yep.
So yeah, Joey, is that your first
Yes.
name, Joey?
Yes,
okay,
Joey.
Great. Joey, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you get started? What's your main hustle here in Las Vegas?
For sure.
Yeah.
I got started like in 2018. That's when I officially started dropping my music on like all platforms. So Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all that stuff. Now I didn't really start doing shows up until 2020, but you know, once I got all of that kicked off, that's when I really started to see my career taking off from there. So right now, you know, it took a while for me to get over like the 20 monthly listeners, but I actually just hit like 419. So things are slowly starting to grind up, you know. So
nice. Congrats. Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, I've been basically working with a lot of people out here, a lot of hosts, a lot of interviewers like yourself, a lot of artists, you know, just trying to get to know the scene a little bit better and just network, you know.
Nice.
So yeah, everything's been cool.
Nice. 2018. So you said you started in 2018, but then you didn't do your first show until 2020.
2020, yeah.
Let's even take it back a little bit further. When did you start making music?
Music, I mean, I've always had a passion for music. I always loved music, and you know, even like in the shower, sometimes I'd be like freestyling and making my own songs in the shower, and I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time until like I got older, and I was like, wow, like I was really writing music back in the day, you know. But I'd say, I mean, my passion started like since an early age, you know. Music was always in my family, so it was always something. But you know, I didn't start doing my own stuff until like I got out of high school, basically like senior year, so 2016, and that's when I kind of, you know, started doing that stuff.
Okay, so 2016 is when you started like formally, when you recognized for yourself that you were actually writing songs.
Right.
But as a kid, you had always been singing in the shower,
basically,
and writing music since you were a young one. And
basically.
Then in 2018, you decided to make it
official.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
What sparked that?
I mean, I would say my fiance, you know, to be honest, because when I started rapping, you know, everybody around me was kind of like, oh, you know, it's good. And she was like, you know, you should really do something with it. And I was like, I mean, you know, it'd be cool. But then again, like, it's so hard to get into the industry, and I didn't know anybody in the industry. So I was like, I don't really know like what to do. But she always kept me motivated, you know, like even when my music sucked, she'd be like, it sounds great, you know, and just kept me like going at it. And then like she kept me motivated to like the point that I am now, you know, because without her, I don't think I would ever push my music this heavy.
Okay. So you had somebody in your corner, your sweetie in your corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. You said you didn't really like have any contacts or anything.
Yeah.
Or what, you know, because we got a lot of people listening, and sharing that journey, that part of your journey is really helpful for people like just getting started. So how did you start? How did you grow your network? What were some of the very first steps that you took not knowing really where to break in?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say one of my huge steps was kind of just getting comfortable with talking to people about me making music, because that was a big thing. Like when I started off, I was kind of like, I didn't want to tell people like, oh, I'm a rapper or I'm a songwriter, because their first thing is like, oh, you're a SoundCloud rapper, you know, like you're not really doing big things. And I didn't really have streams or followers like that, so I knew that people were looking for that validation. So I was like, okay, so the way I got my first show was talking to somebody at work. I was literally, it was just one random day where like her computer wasn't working. She came by to sit down with me to like observe what I was doing. And, you know, I was letting her know, you know, like I rap and I do all this stuff. And she's like, well, my wife is a promoter out here. So, you know, she's having a show coming up. And it was on September 13th, like on my birthday. And I was like,
on your birthday,
like
even.
The universe just aligned like perfectly. And I was like, okay, you know, that'd be cool. She's like, send her your music and we'll see what she says. And she loved it. You know, she was like, okay, let's work. Like, I want to have you come out to the show. And that was my first experience. And like, it was just like getting out of that comfort zone and being like, you know what, I am a rapper. Like, I'm going to take pride in that. Like, I do what I do, you know, and regardless if people like it or not, there's going to be people out there that love it, you know? So it definitely took me by surprise. And one thing that I had to also get out of was being shy to talk to people, because I'm so like introverted and I like to be in my house that like, I don't know, talking to people is just, you know, it gets me a little shooken up sometimes, but now I'm like a lot more comfortable with it, you know? So
I feel like that's true for a lot of people. The shyness and getting comfortable talking to people. That can be difficult to overcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say that it's a necessity in order to push forward? Like you have to be comfortable, or do you think you could make it not talking to people like face to face? And
I don't know, because you see, when I feel like the connection, like you get one person when you talk to somebody through Instagram, for say, or Twitter, or like, you know, but you seeing them face to face and getting that real connection, like I'm all about energy. So like if I talk to you and I feel good energy, you know, like I love it, you know, but like sometimes you meet people and they give you a persona online and then you meet them and you're like, oh, that's not matching up, you know? So it's kind of like, you know, I'm that kind of person, like all about energy. So like, you know, being able to meet people in person, that just helps me understand you better as a person. So
I like that. I like that. No, that's definitely true. Being able to read people's body language, all those like unconscious cues, right, that we get when we communicate with somebody, like being face to face or at least screen to screen,
right?
So you can see somebody in the eye, right?
Right,
you know?
right.
It's helpful, and so definitely helps to be able to talk to people and make that connection. It'll get you farther faster.
Yeah, definitely.
Having that skill. You said something earlier that really that I want to kind of go back to, and that's you said you didn't really have like the followers or the listens, right, to show people like kind of like the street cred or the bona fides, right. There is this adage that's out there. It says, "Fake it till you make it," right? Personally, I'm not a really big fan of that one. I'm much more of a fan of like, you know, stand in your truth and just be honest, communicate where you're at. How do you feel about that fake it till you make it vibe, or stand in your truth?
I feel like fake it till you make it, it could work out in a sense, because I feel like when it comes to self-belief, like you have to believe in yourself before everybody else around you believes in you, right? And so like fake it till you make it, make yourself feel good until people realize it, you know what I mean? But not like, oh, like I got 1 million streams, like, and you don't really have 1 million streams. Like there's certain things you don't want to.
So don't lie.
Fake. Right. Like don't lie about who you are. Don't lie about what you stand for, what you're doing, but be honest in a sense where like, if you believe in yourself to that point that you know you're going to be a legend at one point, then go for it. You know, maybe you will be a legend at one point, but you got to believe in yourself first. But I also believe in standing in my truth. Like I'm not going to tell anybody lies and tell them I've performed with Snoop Dogg or like, you know, something crazy. And then they're like, okay, well, let's fact check that. Like, in my dream I did, you know? So yeah.
I was hanging out with Snoop Dogg. On YouTube.
Hey.
He was on YouTube. I was watching him. We were hanging out. Yeah.
We had a good time, man.
That's great. Well, okay. Yeah. Thanks for breaking that down for me. Let's go to that first show. what were you feeling? Take us through like the emotional journey
I mean,
of that first show.
I mean, still to this point, I get really, really bad anxiety right before I hop on stage. Like,
Okay.
it's something where like I get like goosebumps. I'm like, okay, like what's people's reaction gonna be? But like my very first show, like I was sweating beforehand. Like I
Okay.
was nervous.
Before
yeah,
you got
and
on
I
stage,
had
you were
my
sweating.
mom, my stepdad, you know, my girl, of course. She's always
The whole
there.
family
The whole
showing
family
out.
was there,
Wow,
you
that's
know.
great.
So I was like, and I had a few friends that were there, and I was like, okay, like I really don't want to disappoint them. Like, can I do this? And then like when they finally called me up, like you could tell like from the video as well, because I have a video of my first show that I was
Oh, you
very
do? Okay.
uncomfortable. You know, I was like looking down, like I didn't feel comfortable looking at the people because I'm like, I don't want to know their reaction. Like, do they like it? Do they not? Like, what's going on? But after the show, I had a few people come up to me and they're like, yo, like keep doing what you're doing, like, you know, and they gave me these motivations. And I even had a guy come up to me. He's like, you inspired me, bro. Like, I make music and like I haven't been wanting to go do shows and like really take it serious, but like seeing you do it, like that inspired me. And I was like,
That's so great.
that's crazy, you know, that people
Yeah.
notice that. And I'm like, I know that they could tell that I was nervous because even I could tell, you know.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, so seeing people come up to me, that was just like that reassurance where I was like, okay, like you can really do it. Like, you know, you're inspiring other people and like you're still not even in it yet, you know. So I was like,
Wow.
you know, just the start of something new.
Yeah, straight out of your first show. That's great. Well, okay,
Exactly.
so nerves, sweating before the show. On stage, not a lot of stage presence. You were looking
Right.
down, but people still connected
Right,
with
right.
you. So the music is strong. The music connects with people. That's good to
Exactly.
hear. How did you feel after that first show?
After the show, I definitely felt like it was me against the world, you know, because I was like,
Oh
whoa,
wow,
like this
okay.
is like,
you against the world.
yeah, like I honestly felt like extra motivated, you know, and just knowing that I was able to motivate somebody when I wasn't at my highest, you know, it made everything just better for me. And then it motivated me to make more music. I was motivated to like write about those experiences and like stuff like that, you know. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thanks for taking us through the first part of your journey and like
course.
the origins, right? And it sounds like you had a leg up there, support from your fiance.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
that's always
definitely.
nice. How about the family? The family support
The
you?
family always supported. Yeah, my
Okay.
family, you know, I have an uncle that's actually a DJ, and I kept telling him like, oh, you know, like, can you bring me out to a show or something? But he's kind of on his own thing, so I didn't really get that opportunity with him up until like just recently where he's like, oh, I'll pay you to come out and perform somewhere. And I'm like, okay, you know, but it took a while for like people that are in the industry in my family to like catch up to that, you know, because obviously they want to see you building your own platform and, you know, just that validation, I guess. But nah, overall, my family's super supportive. My mom, you know, my dad as well. It took my dad a while to kind of catch on
Really?
too.
Okay.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
mom too, you know, they thought it was just a hobby, you know, but after a while they kind of realized that like this is what I'm like really passionate about, you know. So
And then they got behind you.
and then they got behind me, yeah.
Okay.
But you know, they're always down to buy tickets, always down to buy merch. So you know, it's something that, you know, it's amazing having a supportive family. It definitely helps out a lot. So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, let's take this interview a couple of different places. Before we take the next step, though, tell everybody where they can find your music.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm sure people are hungry to hear the music. So
Yeah.
so let them know.
Yeah. If you guys want to tap in with my music, I'm available on all platforms, which would be iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, you know, et cetera, you name it. So you can Google up Joey Taps and you'll find everything, and that's TAPZ at the end. So
Joey Taps, TAPZ.
Yep.
Okay, on all platforms.
On all platforms.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's take a bit of a left turn for the interview. Let's talk about something that you're passionate about that's not music. What other interests you got?
I mean, I do a lot of things because I have ADHD. So like, I'll just randomly pick up things. Like, I got into painting for a while.
Painting?
Yeah. So I got into painting. Like recently I've been just doing random stuff. Like, I also started cutting hair a while back. Like there's just random things that I'll do just because I'm bored, you know? I'll be on YouTube and I'm like, that looks fun. Let me just, so I got into fish care recently. That's been my biggest thing. I have a lot of fishes.
Did you just say fish care?
Yes.
What is fish care?
Like just taking care of fishes. Like I just get fishes. I set up awesome aquariums and I just take care of them.
Okay. So aquariums, building different environments for fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Where that is, I was not expecting that. Joey Taps, fish care,
man,
aficionado.
Yup.
Okay, yeah, no, I got to dive into that just a little bit. What sparked that?
My dad was always into fishes.
Okay,
and so
it's in the family.
Yeah, it's in the family.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always into fishes. And then eventually I went to Walmart and they had like this like nice little tank. And I was like, it would be so cool if I just bought a tank and I set it up like how I want it. So I don't know if you've ever heard of like betta fish. Like the,
I've actually had a betta fish
there you go.
when I was a kid.
I have like,
they're cool looking.
2 of them right now. And I have them both in separate tanks because they can't be together. They're both males. Yeah. But I've set them up like planted and like all that stuff. So like their tanks are beautiful, and like I spend a lot of time just checking their waters and making sure they're okay. And like, so, when I got into it, I was like, I just reminded myself of my dad, because I was like, wow, like I really caught on to that without wanting to, but like I love fishes, I love to watch them and just set up their tanks, I
mean, they do have beautiful environments, and following in your father's footsteps, that's not unheard of.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not as random as I.
You're just like, wait, what?
that definitely caught me off guard. Okay. What else? You got ADHD. Let's not talk about that too much. But I know a lot of folks actually. No. Let me dial that back. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Struggles, joys of having ADHD in being a creative, painting, building fish environments, rapping. Those are all
right.
Break it down for people. What's that like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, I just catch interest, and the thing is, it sucks sometimes because sometimes I'll get really, really passionate about something, and I'll be doing it like every single day, and then one day I'll just drop it and move on to the next thing.
Interesting.
But music is the one thing that I have stuck on with because I love making music. That's like one thing that my heart beats for. But other things like barber, like for example, I was cutting hair for a little bit. I cut like my friends' hairs, my family's hairs, and then I was like, okay. That's that, and then I moved into painting, I moved into fish care, and then I just kind of forget about it and I come back to it. So that's one thing. It keeps my creative bubble going, because like it's something where like I'll pick it back up, I'll learn something new, I'll get back into it. But then it's like also something where I'm like, okay, like I could be taking it serious and making money off, like for example, going to school to be a barber, but I'm like, is that really something I'm going to wake up every day and be like, yes,
gotcha,
let's clock in, like.
Right.
So.
Well, I think it's cool that that it keeps you energized to try a lot of different things. That's one thing that I recognize that people struggle with. They don't know where their passion is. And,
right.
What do you think is the best way to discover your passion?
Discovering your passion, I mean, I feel like you kind of just have to explore. You have to try different things. And that's why I always tell people, like, don't be afraid to try something. Like, if you do decide, okay, I don't want to be a barber, like, just sell your things and move on to the next thing. Like, at the end of the day, if you randomly decide you want to get back into it, you can get back into it. Like, the world is full of opportunities. It just depends, like, where you take those steps and where you put your passion into. So I always tell people, just explore, man. You think you like being in the medical field, go to school to be in the medical field and see if you like it. Take one class, like just take the jump. The worst that can happen is you won't like it. Find something else. Yeah.
No, that's great advice. Explore. Mm-hmm. Invest a little bit of time and energy and focus and see if you like it. Exactly. Try it out.
Exactly.
Right? Well, so music was always that. Let's jump back on the music path. Yeah. Let's talk about that because I think that's where people are really going to enjoy what you have to share with them. So, so you're just starting out. You had your first show. What were the next steps after that? You're feeling energized after that show. What did you do next?
After that, it was kind of just like reaching out to people on Instagram. I started
Okay.
following people,
Okay.
like for example, because I met that promoter, she knew other promoters, so right away she had gotten me on board with a few other people. So like right away I started like following those people. Every time they would post flyers, I would reach out to them, be like, hey, do you think you can like allow me to be on that show? Like, what do I need to
Okay.
do to get on there?
Yeah.
And some people turn me down because like I said, I didn't really have a big following. They're looking for people to like pull up and like bring a crowd, and I'm like, I'll bring my whole family, like quit playing with me, let's go. So one thing that like I don't know, like it was just like this whole like me reaching out to people and just like yes here, no here, yes here, no here. So I met people through other people, and eventually they saw that I was really trying to push this, like I was like consistent about it. So then at that point people started reaching out to me. So I mean, just knowing her, which her name is London B, it opened up a lot of doors for me. So
okay, so shout out
London B.
London B.
London B.
Wow. Okay. I like that name. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
London B. Yeah. For putting you on game.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you just reached out to some people through Instagram. It was like kind of like a cold call thing.
Well, I would reach out to them. I'd send them a message. I'd be like, hey, I'm an artist here in, Vegas. I'm looking for shows. I saw you had this booking. Like, I'm interested in seeing if you could possibly get me on there,
Okay.
And what do I have to do? Do I have to pay a fee? Do I get tickets? Like, what's the situation with that? The details. And then they'd send over the details if they were interested. Some people didn't even answer because they're like, I didn't really have a lot of followers. So they were kind of like, who is this person? But, like, knowing London B definitely opened a lot of doors because, she would reach out to people and be like, hey, like I've had this person pull up at my show. So she would step in that place for me. And, it would definitely help people like trust me even more and just know that I'm actually in it,
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So the longer you're in it, the more street cred you get.
Yes, indeed.
And then when you reach out to people in the way that you're describing, some people would hit you back, some people not.
Right.
But the more street cred you got, more responses you got.
Yeah.
So there you are, really taking off in 2020. That's the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's that did not go well for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That really didn't go well for a lot of people. I know in the creative culture, I watched people come and go here in the city. A lot of people felt, lost momentum. A lot of people got sick.
Right.
A lot of industries tanked. I know. Shout out to the stagehands unions here in Las Vegas for pulling through on all of that.
Right.
But you had some success in 2020 during the pandemic. Let's
Which
talk
was
about
crazy.
that.
Yeah. So 2020, I did shows at least 2 to 3 every single month. Single month. Like,
how did? Okay, so are we on lockdown?
we were on lockdown, yeah, but we were still doing shows, live shows. Like I was up in front of people, and so like that was the craziest thing for me too.
Let's not hate. Yeah, everybody was masked up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We were all masked up. Microphones were being wiped down. Everything was being taken care of. But yeah, for whatever reason, 2020 for me was like the start of everything. I think that's when like
you don't hear that often.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know. It was just faith, I guess you could say, but. I met a lot more people. I started doing shows, and then because I started doing shows, a lot more people started reaching out to me to go do shows. So like that opened up a lot of doors for me, like without even knowing it. And
that's crazy.
I got together with some people over at the Ninja Karaoke too. And
Ninja Karaoke! Shout out Ninja.
Yeah, I actually got a show coming up this Saturday on the 26th.
Okay, so this Saturday. Oh, are you going to be playing next to Theo then?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out Theo. Episode 5 of the podcast. If you haven't caught it, this Saturday at Ninja Karaoke.
Yep.
Yeah. Ninja Karaoke's been a cool. I'll take a small pause to shout them out because they've really put on for a lot of locals.
Right.
They are locally owned themselves, obviously, but coming from they've been in the town for a minute, and so they have a really nice venue. And they really support local creatives. So shout out Ninja Karaoke, and that's cool that you're going to be there this Saturday.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Theo, and that's why he was like, "Oh, I'll see you on Saturday." I'm like, I didn't even know, but let's go. I'm excited to meet up with him in person and definitely network some more and discuss things. Who knows? It's a book full of opportunities out there. So
that's great. Yeah, that's great to hear. Okay, so yeah, like I'm really enjoying the conversation about your journey. So, uh, there you were networking with folks. Slowly, you're still making music during this whole time
Yeah,
and putting
yeah,
stuff out, growing your following.
indeed.
This 2020, you're doing some shows. How many shows did you do in 2020?
In 2020, I mean, let's say, for example, if I did two a month, I mean, we're looking at about 24 shows for the year.
Wow,
Yeah, so
24 shows
yeah,
in 2020. That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely
Wow, you
crazy.
pushed.
Yeah.
You really pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, from one show to 24 shows in a year. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
it was
lot.
like, any opportunity that came knocking at my door, I would just take it. Even if it
Okay.
was something small, the person didn't have a lot of following, like I would be there, because at the end of the day, like, even though people are small, you never know where they're going to take things or where they're going to go in life. So, like, I always try to, even if somebody doesn't have any followings or even if a rapper hits me up and they barely have listeners, I'll still tap in with them and I'll still check them out and I'll still show my support because at the end of the day, you never know who that person is going to turn into. So, yeah, I'm all about supporting other people.
That's great. Okay, so during this time, you're also going to other people's shows and supporting other rappers.
Well, I would stick around to like, kick it with people at the shows, but that was also like another worry of mine. Like, because not a lot of people were throwing shows. Like, unless I was a part of it,
Right.
I didn't really know
Right.
any other people because I didn't have any
Okay.
friends that were artists like that, like,
Okay.
so that's why like now I have a lot of friends that are artists. And if they throw shows, I'm like, okay, let's go. I'll have my girl pull up, we'll pull up, I'll bring some friends and just try to support as much as we can, cheer them on while they're up there.
That's great.
But during that time, it was kind of just me and my girl just going to shows, meeting people, networking and just doing our thing every time we'd pull up. So it took a while for me to get like my own little bubble of friends together that are artists. So now that I do, it's a lot more different now.
So now, 2 years later, you got your bubble of friends. You go out to their shows. They come out to your
Indeed.
shows. You got that support, showing love, showing
Yeah.
support for others. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, so that's the show end of it. That's the performance end of it. Let's talk about the business side. What's important for people to know about when you're making music, on the back end, on the business side? Like, what would you say are the number one, maybe number two, the two topmost things that people should know when they're making their own music?
Well, I think it's important to keep in mind that a lot of the money we make as artists isn't from the streams. You get paid very, very
not from
little for
streams.
streams,
Okay,
And
yeah.
so one thing to keep in mind is like just try to find other routes on how to go about things, like making your own merchandise, making your own, whatever you want to put together, but something that you're selling on your end by yourself, because a lot of the times streams don't really pay, and that's one thing that like I think as an artist, I didn't really understand till I got into the industry and I was like, oh wow, like this whole thing has just been like mind-blowing for me, like learning step by step, like certain things I thought were a certain way, finding out it's a different way, so that's one thing. And then another thing is like just don't like rely on labels.
Don't rely on
Don't
labels.
rely on labels.
That's
I feel like
probably really important.
a lot of
yeah.
people are kind of just expecting a label to come by, swoop them up, and wow, you're like this crazy person now. You feel me? But
Okay.
like as an independent artist, you could earn so much money on your own doing the same things that they're doing, because really, like when they're submitting your music to playlists, they're just submitting it and waiting for an approval. You could do that too. You just need
Interesting.
to know how to market your music and you need to know how to push it. Like marketing is a different part of it, but a lot of
Right,
things you
okay.
could do yourself, So that's one thing I always like try to tell people, like don't rely on labels, like just do your own thing. And if a label comes by, offers you something amazing, okay, learn the back end of that business too, because they try to screw you over. And sometimes, you gotta be,
So much of that.
you gotta be
Yeah.
ready.
Why do you think? I'm just interested in your opinion because I hear that story a lot. That labels are predatory.
Yeah.
My guess is that because there's a lot of people out there trying to make it, right? And so they're just flooded with an opportunity to be predatory.
Exactly.
And one thing I do know about working with a lot of creatives is that, a fair amount, there's a fairly high percentage of people who don't follow through.
Right.
Right. And so with a lack of follow through on a high percentage of clients, if you will, there's a lot of opportunity for a label to be quote unquote predatory. Maybe
Right.
that's their intention, maybe it's not.
Right.
But what's your opinion? What's your opinion about that scene? Why are labels viewed as predatory, or why do they do that?
I mean, I can't really explain why they do what they do, but I do feel like a lot of it has to do with money. Like you said,
Money. Okay. Oh, sure.
They're giving out money, expecting something in return. Some people don't show up in return. So then that's when they become, the bad guy. But then again, it's like if you were to do it yourself, you pull out a bunch of money, like you're going to owe the bank money,
Okay.
So like you got to come back and pay it back. But I think that's where people get confused, because they think that the label's just giving them money for being an artist, and they go and blow it on jewelry and blow it on this and that. And then when they have to return it, they're like, oh, I thought that was your treat, for being an artist, for me signing with you guys. But it's like, they don't read the paperwork, they don't understand the terms.
Read the paperwork.
Read the paperwork. It's so important.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you've definitely dropped a lot of really good information. Fight through the anxiety, fight through the fear, get on stage, go perform,
Exactly.
explore, find your interests, build your network.
Amen.
That's huge. Get comfortable building your network, reaching out to people through social, all the while continue to make art. Learn marketing, run things yourself if you can. It's good if you have a team behind you, it's super helpful. Not everybody's got that, but still, persevere, push through,
Exactly.
go get that experience. So, let's talk about what's next for you. What do you got your sights on? What's the future look like for you?
I mean, right now, I'm currently I'm cruising through this right now. So I'm cruising through it. So
that's nice.
I'm taking my time. I'm, dropping a song every single month. Something I've told people, like, I don't really drop albums or EPs yet. I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
And the main reason is because I understand that even people like me, like with my ADHD, I have a very short, small attention span. So you can give me a whole album. Okay. I'll click a few songs that look interesting to me and I'll listen to them. But unless it's like one of my favorite rappers, I'll like sit there and go through the whole album. But like me as a person, I know my fan base isn't at that point. So I know I can't drop an album, and I know that I'll be wasting some songs because unfortunately not a lot of people are going to tap into them, So I've been doing single by single. That way people have something to look forward to. And I've been trying to keep my songs like under, I'd say like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, because I know that people aren't going to pay that much attention. So it's usually like a hook, a verse and a hook.
Hook, verse, hook.
That's it.
Okay.
Keep it simple. And then, so I've been dropping a song every month. Right now I've been collaborating with a lot of rappers. So I'm kind of going on their projects and like tapping in with them. And I got some merchandise on the way as well. That's something I've been trying to...
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled.
Exactly.
Joey Taps merch coming at you.
Indeed. So I've been trying to, do little steps here and there. But like I said, I want to learn the business side also of like dropping merchandise and what I need to look out for on that end before I get into it. Because, there's a lot that comes with it. You can sell your own merch, but you got to keep track of all that stuff, because then the taxes come around.
Oh, the taxes. Oh, that's
gotta be ready.
That's that 4-5 letter word. Is taxes a 5? I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it's a 5-letter word. Yeah, I'm like, no, there's an ES in there, but that's a swear word here. Yeah. That is a swear word for sure. Taxes. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to hear it, but we all got to be prepared for it.
That's
just,
true. Yeah.
The sad truth. But
better to be prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on a schedule. You're dropping a song every month. Give the folks something to look forward to. You got merch coming on the way. Yep. Those are nice, and you're still learning the business.
Still learning the business. Yeah, I think that's why I haven't really like taken that leap where I'm doing a lot, because I'm trying to learn the business side before I keep it moving, because I know that opportunities are knocking at the door. So like I'll take advantage of them. I'll go to shows if somebody reaches out, or I see somebody post like, we're looking for artists. I'll be first up, but I definitely want to learn the business side more. So I'm trying to like find more people to network with that know and are more experienced than I am. That way I can learn from them.
Okay.
So that's been like one of my biggest goals for the year, just learning from other people, and just, because I got videos on the way as well, but they're features with the other people I'm making videos with. So
okay,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your journey
course.
and all the knowledge that you've gained in the last couple of years. Well, on this crazy path to being a rapper here in Las Vegas. Do you see yourself performing anywhere outside of Las Vegas? Like, where do you want to go? Like, what's the next stage for you?
I mean, I want to do something huge, like
something huge.
Something huge, like, because, you know, obviously there's so many different places you can go.
Right.
Like, so many stadiums, so many stages.
Yeah,
like, I wouldn't even know what to name. Like, there's so many.
Okay.
Like, I literally want to just hit like every city I can. And like, my biggest goal for this year is trying to do a tour. Like
a tour.
Okay. Yeah. Like, just
that's great. Yeah.
taking off and going to different cities. Cause I've performed in LA, you know, I've performed in California.
Oh, you have?
And like, the vibes over there are definitely different.
Different vibes in California.
Yeah. Different vibes, and different kind of people, different kind of perspectives. But, I feel like my music, because I'm originally from the Bay Area, like
you're a Bay cat.
Yeah. So my music has got that bang to it. So I feel like that's the one thing that they're like, okay, the music is good, you know, but I don't know. Some people are just afraid to show support sometimes. And I'm like, you know, I'll show you support. I don't care being a little fangirl sometimes. Like, you cool. You know, it is what it is, man. I'm going to give you your flowers. But, you know, not everybody's like that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give flowers to get flowers.
Indeed.
I mean,
indeed.
Yeah. And everybody deserves their flowers. I mean, that's for sure. If you're out there hustling, get your flowers.
Right,
show love. You'll get them.
Exactly.
You'll get your flowers.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Thank you again so much. It has been a great pleasure sitting here chopping it up with you. Before we end the cast, though, is there anything that you would like to leave the people with? Is there a question I missed, that something you really want the people to know? And then, of course, wrap it up and let them know where they can find you just one last time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, you know, just self-belief, man. You guys, if you guys don't have a team behind you, you guys don't have, you know, people in the industry that can help you out with your journey, like, don't be afraid to just take that leap, you know, because you're going to meet people along the way that are going to take you very far if you just keep it genuine and just keep your energy genuine all the time, you know, like, don't be something that you're not. Like, just show people who you are and they'll love you for it. So just take that leap, man. That's all I gotta say.
Take that leap and be genuine.
Yeah,
no, that's great. Those are great words to end it on. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, hold on. I'm afraid I don't want to knock the microphone over. So, whoa.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I had a great time with you as well.
Cool. Yeah.
This is my first experience in a podcast.
Oh, yeah? Okay.